Hello there. My name is Dr. 𝗟𝗜𝗢𝗢. I'm the founder of the Academy of Light Medicine and the 𝗪𝗏𝗏 Healing Method. And this week's Spiritual Medicine Digest is the WIIFM Filter. Now, some of you already know what that means, but for those of you that don't, we are going to talk about that in just a moment. If you're new to my channel and you like all things spiritual, and if you are a sensitive soul, then this is the perfect place for you to be. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button and perhaps the notification bell, so every time I do a new video, you will be notified. So what is that WIIFM? Okay, well, let me give you the backstory. So a couple of weeks ago, my business coach, Timothy Francis, asked the class to go ahead and write down 3 to 5 decisions, small or big, that we've made in the past that we regret or feel like we could have made a better decision. So that was pretty easy for me to write down. So I wrote down these 5 things. And then after everybody was done, he said, okay, so is there a pattern or theme related to these so-called poor decisions? And immediately it was like, boom, right in my face. And I'm like, why did I not see this pattern before? And the pattern was this: the decisions I made that were not so great or could have been better in the past were based on what was best for someone else. So my knee-jerk pattern is to think about the other person and to see what they would like, what they would prefer, and what supposedly would be for their highest and greatest good, or at least in their perception. And I was like, that is so automatic for me. Now, if you read a lot of spiritual books like I do, you may notice a trend where spiritual teachers are talking about being humble, talking about giving more, right? Talking about being less selfish. And I've really listened to these books and these teachings for a very long time. And it wasn't until I read Anita Moorjani's book, Sensitivity is the New Strong, which, by the way, is like the prequel to my book, Sensitivity is Your Superpower, where she literally says, you guys need to hear this. She says, these messages about, giving more, they are not for you. You already give probably too much. And it really struck me, finally, somebody said it. Something that I've been feeling for quite some time, but almost felt kind of guilty for thinking it or feeling it. Sensitive souls tend to overgive. So by telling us to give more, what we do is we sacrifice ourselves. And that is kind of sort of that pattern, that knee-jerk pattern that I've always had. I don't know how long I've had it, probably since childhood, where I can empathically feel into what the other person desires and wants and would be excited about. And then my rational mind would go, okay, well, how can we make this work for them, right? And thinks of all the reasons that it could work. But you know what I just did? I bypassed my body. I bypassed the body signals that were literally telling me yes or no. And so, oh boy, I made quite a few not so great decisions in the past, including my first marriage. Yes. My ex-husband, bless him, asked me to marry him very soon after we began dating. I knew that my parents would freak out. Okay. But I thought to myself, I can't hurt this guy's feelings. He's so sweet. He's so loving, right? So I said yes when deep down, if I really felt into my body and respected it, it was screaming at me, don't say yes. At least delay the yes, right? Oh my goodness. Oh yes, the ensuing number of years of turmoil between myself and my parents and family were really immense, and it could have been all prevented had I said, that is so sweet. Thank you so much for asking me to marry you. And you may not understand my family situation right now, but this is not going to go over well, and there's going to be HE double hockey sticks to pay if I say yes. So give me some time to think about it. I know that could really disappoint you or even pierce your heart with pain, but I am sorry. I need this time to process. Can you imagine us saying that kind of stuff? Oh my goodness. I have difficulty saying it now. But anyway, I can practice, right? It's easier to counsel another person than it is to counsel myself sometimes. Do you ever notice that? Yeah. So, for highly sensitive souls, the filter that I've now installed, and it really isn't a metaphysical filter, but if you want to, you can imagine it as such, is the WIIFM filter. This is not for the average person, literally, because it's kind of their modus operandi. This is for sensitive souls who always think of other people first. If that's you, raise your hand. Yes, I know, right? What's in it for me? Ooh, that probably, if you're a very sensitive soul, been overgiving, that'll probably cause you to feel kind of guilty. Okay, so let's go. Erase, 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 erase the guilt. Maybe we'll do a double gain healing activation about that. What's in it for me? Now, you're probably going, well, isn't that what everybody else is doing? And that's why we're in the world and pickle we're in? Well, probably. Okay, probably. But by you sacrificing yourself and not listening to your intuition, which is your body, by the way, that is not helping. No, no. By disempowering yourself, therefore putting out that negative morphic field of disempowerment, you're actually not helping but hurting everybody else on the planet. No pressure. However, for those of you that are overgivers, myself being one of them, this filter may be really helpful. Now, this filter is literally saying anytime anybody asks you to do something, before you have that knee-jerk response, yes, and then figure out how am I going to do it, okay? How's this going to fit into my schedule? Blah, blah, blah. It feels really good. Why does it feel good? Well, because they're feeling good and I'm feeling them feeling good. And oh my gosh, that wasn't me feeling good. Oops. Right before you do that, you pause and you give me a moment, I need a day to process it. Let me think about it. This is like part of the nirvana of no exercise that has now been elevated in the Light Warrior Training Camp, okay? We're going to do that July 14th and 19th, and we're going to practice together. Oh, practice makes perfect, right? Perfect practice makes even more perfect. It's not as easy as you think. So the filter is anytime anyone asks me to do something, to give something, to be somewhere, I go through that filter. I pause. I'm not 100% at it yet, but I'm better, right? As of like this week, I'm better. I pause and I go, what's in it for me? And then usually there's like a big blank. And I'm like, I'm not used to asking that question. And then I have to actually process, think about it. Is it like 90% what's in it for them and 10% what's in it for me? Or does my mind go, well, they'd be so happy, so figure out what's in it for you. Oh, I know that one too, right? So what do? We filter it through the what's in it for me in the body. Yes, the body is there for a reason. It is your sense, right? It is your intuitive instrument. If you are not embodied, not only can you not manifest well, you cannot intuit very well either. And you'll be easily taken by what we call leading energies and other nefarious energies if you are not embodied, not grounded in who you really are. So I was asked something, and I knew that person had difficulty asking because it was kind of a big ask, relatively speaking. And I said, okay, what's in it for me? And boy, it was awkward thinking about that. I wasn't saying it out loud, but I was, luckily it was a message, so I didn't have to answer right away. So I got some practice time, right? So I was like, okay, what's in it for me? And then I started feeling my body. Well, interesting. My mind was going, well, you could do it this way, this way. Well, it could really work, actually. I don't see why you have this, you have this, you're very generous. You can get right. The body, though, was like, oh. I was able to tap in immediately well, this was still going on the side, but tapping in immediately, focusing the body felt heavy, contracted. That is my no signal. You'll have to figure out what yours is, but usually it's along those lines. And I thought, wow, I really want to convince myself out of this no. But I'm like, okay, so the left brain wants to know why. I'm like, why is it a no? And then I felt into what would be a yes. Interesting. And that, in this case, would require more space, more distance. It literally was a question about my living situation, changing my living situation, right? And then I realized, wait, I live where I live in the middle of nowhere for a reason. And I thought, why am I trying to make myself wrong for that, right? Why am I trying to say yes when my body's telling me no? So there's all this processing, all this learning, all this evolving, hint, 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 that I am personally doing and sharing with you vulnerably about what's going on with me. So I want you to really think about your own situations. Are you one of those people that has a knee-jerk yes and then later on regret it because you can't fit everything in and you don't want to disappoint someone because they mean so much to you, because you love them so much, you don't want to say no? Well, guess what? Sometimes saying no is the right thing for both of you, even if the other person is disappointed. This is the nirvana of no. Don't worry, like Warrior Training Camp, we go through baby steps, so it's not going to be an intimidating exercise at all. It's going to be actually really fun. And you'll get some feedback and you'll get to process in your body in a very gentle way. So if you know that you're one of these people, okay, that is always thinking about other people, what's best for them, I highly recommend that you start using this filter. What's in it for me first? And if you can't come up with a lot of good things where your body goes, oh yeah, yeah, I like that, you might have to say no. Well, you don't have to say no. You might choose to say no. Because here's the thing, if you continuing doing something against what your intuition, what your body's actually saying, there's going to be HELL hockey sticks to pay for that down the road. Believe me. And here's the thing, nip it in the bud now. Okay, you're like, well, I had 30 years where I did the opposite. That's okay. I had more. Do it now. And guess what? You get a pass. You do not have to feel guilty for this at all, because you're a sensitive soul. You feel other people's stuff and you feel what they would like. And then you feel it in your body and you think it's yours. It's not yours. It's theirs. So pause, wait at least a day to make a decision, okay? And filter it through what's in it for me. At least it has to be 50-50, I think, before you say yes. Now your mind is going to go blah, 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 right? So being in stillness is really important. So let's do some clearings here with Atopic healing activations that could help you be willing to use that filter. It's not really an installation of a filter, but you know what? If it helps you to think that it is, let's go ahead and download that, okay? All right, so go ahead and rub your hands. Feel into the body, feel the energy running. Just kind of move your body a little bit, close your eyes if it's safe for you to do so. Feel that body, feel the energy. Be here, be now, be present in the body. This is stillness through observing internal movement. If you want a 30-minute instruction on it, it's absolutely free. We'll put that below this video. So go ahead and continue feeling the flow wherever it goes. And I'm going to speak some Atopic healing activations. And you just imagine, if you decide to receive, what this activation is for you. So first of all, let's go ahead and clear the guilt, okay? So I now command that all guilt, especially related to helping ourselves, supporting ourselves, desiring what it is we desire without any excuses, all those kinds of guilt, including the guilt of saying no, be deleted, dissolved, and uncreated from ourselves, from all of our timelines, from our ancestors. Ease, speed, and grace in the highest and best way. I now command that the what's in it for me filter, that positive morphic field of being able to pause, say, give me a moment or give me a day. I need to think about it and process. and be able to immediately think, what's in it for me, without guilt, but with true authenticity, that be downloaded and activated, that posomorphic field, be downloaded and activated with ease, speed, and grace in the highest and best way. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so now with your eyes closed, go ahead and imagine yourself in front of someone that you know, a real person that you know in this reality, this lifetime, that often asks you for things that you actually don't want to say yes to, that you're aware of anyway. Okay? We're not doing the hard one, which is people that rarely ask you for something, but you still want to say no. So imagine someone that tends to ask you for a lot of things that you honestly don't really want to do, but there's no logical reason to say no. So imagine that person in front of you. Imagine that you have this new filter now, and they ask you to do something or be somewhere or volunteer for something or buy something or whatever it is, right? And you calmly in your body and grounded, you're feeling the no, and you say to them lovingly, you know, I'm going to have to think about that. Give me a day and let me get back to you. Thanks for asking. They didn't demand it, right? They asked. So make up your own script for that if you'd like. And just sit in that. If you start to get antsy, anxious, guilty, whatever, there may be other layers. You can go ahead and do your own Toppan healing activation related to all of those energies. And then if it still doesn't go away, there may be some action or practice, which is why going to the Light Warrior Training Camp, by the way, this is actually a picture from the lake where we're at. It can be really helpful because you'll get gentle feedback around people that love you, and we get to practice together in a non-confrontational, loving space. So by the time you go home, you already have some practice under your belt in real life. Very valuable stuff. And if you watch this and would like to have other types of support, you can definitely join the Light Medicine community at 𝗟𝗜𝗚𝗏𝗧/community. It's free to join. We have mini healings every week. And speaking of that, we do have some announcements today. Let's start with the Light Warrior Radio. So every Monday at 12 noon, we air an episode of Light Warrior Radio. And this coming Monday, we have a very special treat. It is with my good friend and colleague, 𝗥𝗔𝗗𝗥𝗥. He is an amazing science brain expert. Worked with, all sorts of billionaires, sought after, yet he is so incredibly humble, and he has a gift for us, a prosperity sound bath. But not only that, during the Light Warrior Radio episode, we talk a lot about manifesting, and he literally boils it down to a science. And I got to tell you, what we talked about, I agree with him 100%. Okay. So if you've been struggling at all with manifesting or materializing what it is you desire, you got to listen to this show. We'll put the link below. Okay. And then get his free prosperity sound bath. His sound baths are awesome. I love just kind of lying in bed and just listening to them. They are awesome and effective. Now, he also has a live event coming up super soon. So I think it's April 9th. So if you're free for that morning, I think it's in the morning, it may coincide with other things that's going on. So just make sure you're on the mailing list, right? So you can get the replay. How you get that? Get the free gift. Okay, let's move on. So speaking of Light Warrior Training Camp, we do have early bird savings now for a little bit of time. And I did want to read you a couple of things. I asked our participants last year at the end of the camp, number one, what was the biggest transformation for you? And number two, what was it that was the best part for you? So let me read a couple of things. So this is from Val. What was my transformation? Realizing I can choose to receive more. I don't always have to be the giver. Vibration time healing. Yes, we did some vibration healing during that. And she said, what the best part is being surrounded by a wonderful group of givers. Thank you, Val. Okay, let's read another one. Okay, this is from Desiree. What was your most important takeaway? She said, oh gosh, Desiree, you're writing like a doctor. Feeling into why I don't go to sleep early, and something, a wonderful family to tell me to, okay, why did I pick this one to read? I can't read what you said. Looks like sweet time or sweetie or something. Anyway, okay, let's go to the next one, which is what's the best part? Creating connections with friends in person who are like-minded. Thank you, Desiree. Let's do one more here. Okay, one that I can definitely read. Okay, Maria, what was your most profound aha? That you could use all the clairs at once to get into stillness. Yes, that is the advanced 𝗟𝗏 360. And we only teach this in detail in person. So if you're a fan of 𝗟𝗏 and stillness, this is a deeper dive into that. So yeah, you're going to really love that. Come to camp. And let's see, the best part, when we shared with like-minded folks and how to change in perspective. Yes, there is an exercise as well. I'm not going to give it away. It's called the Reframe Reliever, where we worked in groups together, and actually we have a good chuckle during that as well. But it's so fun. You get to experience other people's perspectives and shifting your own if you desire to do so. So I'm going to put the link below, how to register for the Early Bird Light Warrior Training Camp Superpower Intensive. Love to see you there, July 14th and 18th. And on Tuesday, I think it is, we have our monthly mini healings. Yeah, so we'll put the link below where you can submit your mini healing request. And this month, we are going to do something I've been working on. It's called the interdimensional integration process. I've been doing it with some VIP clients and gotten some really great feedback. So we'll be doing a version of that. And let's just say it does have to do with our old timeline, new timeline, and integrating the wisdom from the old timeline and materializing into the body and life of your ideal new timeline. So that's pretty exciting. All right, so thank you so much for joining me. I will definitely look forward to seeing you in the Light Medicine community. And make sure you check out the LMC events calendar, because we have some really cool stuff coming out in the next week or two, and you don't want to miss that. All right, so we'll see you next time. Lots of love. Bye for now.